All right. So, David, what would make today's session an amazing session for you?
Yeah, like I said last time, what would make it an amazing session for me would be the fact that I would say that I'll get to learn more about. I'll not say about the things that are doing well, but to
Hmm.
learn more about the things that I can improve. Because throughout time, I've come to like and enjoy seeing the little things that I should improve. I like seeing them and then trying to improve them. For
Yeah.
instance, when I was working on my English skills, for instance,
Hmm.
I've realized that the fact that I was kind of obsessed with the things that I had to improve, it has helped me a lot to
Mm.
improve. Because when I was doing a mistake in a certain sentence, for instance, then right away the next day I was trying to use this same sentence, but this time trying to say it well or to build it in the appropriate way. And it has helped me a lot to improve. And I
Good.
try and
So,
apply that in different fields right now.
yeah. So, what I'm hearing is you're the type of person that loves to improve. It makes you feel good, and who wouldn't want that feeling?
Yeah, sure. But I think
Yeah.
that sometimes it was not my case before. Like I said,
Mm.
sometimes you feel like what's important is doing things well, but actually you cannot do things well if you don't go through those mistakes. And when you get to a point where you are trying to push yourself to an area where you've never been, because generally you will make mistakes when you go into a place where where you have never been before. This is where you're gonna do some mistakes here and there. And in doing those mistakes, in going to these new places, this is when you get to improve. This is what I have seen from my different experiences.
Yeah. And so what you're saying is along the journey, you're going to make mistakes. When you try anything new, you're going to make mistakes, and that's how you grow.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
For instance, when it comes to the different entrepreneurs that I've seen, sometimes you find people who aren't that good in school, for instance, because those people generally, when they were in school, they didn't see any purpose. The why was not there for them.
Mhm.
And it's just my theory, but I think somebody who's been good in school throughout times, maybe when he tries to build up a business, the fact that he will make mistakes, maybe when once it happens, he will have a hard time to put himself back on his feet and try again something else. Whereas somebody who hasn't been a great pupil in school, making mistakes and not being successful the very first time, it will not be something that will be it will be something that will just get him to be stuck where he is and to stop trying new things afterwards.
Yeah. Yeah. And so one of the things that you want is to really look at, how do you, it sounds like constantly grow. How do you recognize, how do you constantly grow and improve? Am I summarizing that correctly?
Yeah, yeah, that's right.
What would, let's see, let's say, you called me a year from now and you said, "Hey, Shermain, that conversation we had a year ago was amazing. I've created so much more in my life." What would you say you've created a year from now in your life?
At this point in my life, I feel like right now I want to have an impact on people
Mm-hmm.
around me.
Mm-hmm.
I'll never say that I'll be able to have an impact on every single one of them,
Mm-hmm.
but to see that I've been able to encourage people to go and try to reach for their dreams. Because like my brother was telling me one time, he was telling me that you have like kind of a cycle. At the beginning, you learn things and then you apply them, and then the next and last step would be to teach people, coach people, to help them out in reaching themselves their goals. It
Yeah.
would be right now. I've reached a point where this is becoming a goal for me.
Yeah. So making an impact, making a greater impact in the lives of other people.
Yeah.
As a result, helping them grow, helping them reach their dreams and their goals and the things that they want to do.
Yes, totally.
Yeah. What else? What else would be, a year from now, if life and business and everything were amazing? You're not only making a greater impact in the lives of other people, what else is happening in your life?
Personally, in a very
Mm-hmm.
personal note, I would say that I feel like I have a certain potential. I think nobody really knows what his real potential.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like right now I have done maybe 30% of what I could
Mm-hmm.
do. Of course, I'll
Mm-hmm.
never know how far I can go, but I feel like I can do a lot of things for this island of mine because
Mm-hmm.
I grew up here as a kid, and for the schooling, I went to France, and then I have decided to come back here because I felt like in France they have enough people to help them out, to help the country. But when it
Mm-hmm.
comes to this island of mine, we don't have that many people, that much people who are there and who can really help out here. So I
Yeah.
felt like if I want to have a big impact, it would be here and not in France.
Yeah. So it sounds like you're making a greater impact in the world and in the lives of other people. You're also living your potential. You're living out your potential. You're doing more. You're being more yourself. You're using your voice more. It sounds like.
This is the goal. This is not, I will not say that this is what's happening now, but it is the direction that I'd like to take for the future, the near future, for sure. But right now, honestly, I've been in France for 15 years. And when I came back here, I was 30. So it's
Mm-hmm.
half of my lifetime.
Mm-hmm.
And coming back here, I've just discovered that I have to learn about this place because 15 years, I mean, it changes you. You think differently and you discover that you're different from the people here in the end. So right now, it's like it's kind of a learning process. And I hope that in the near future, I'll be able to have a good impact here because I think it's really needed here.
Yeah. And so if everything were amazing, you're making a greater impact in the world. You're living your potential. You are. What else? What else would be amazing 1 year from now if you were to create that?
I think it will be pretty much that. I don't have any other specific goal that I have right now, other than that, actually. Yeah.
Yeah. And what we're doing is we're kind of envisioning the future. So it doesn't necessarily have to be a goal that you have right now, but
Mhm.
kind of just if things were amazing and if life were great, to help you kind of think of some new possibilities. So, so it sounds like what's coming up for you is around making that greater impact and really being purposeful and living your purpose and it sounds like those two are hand in hand. They go together, living your purpose and making a greater impact. It sounds like they're related.
Yeah, right now, and it has not always been the case, honestly, because when I was in France, I've made my business school, which was a dream for me. I'm the first one who have done that in my family, and even in France, you don't have a lot of people who do that.
Mm-hmm.
And because in France, people are not used to pay to study. Generally, people go to the public system. But of course, when you go to these kind of schools, it's an advantage for you because the relationship with the companies is very close. The relationship is very close. So you have much more opportunities and you can learn more things in the end. And when I've been there, I've been successful. I've worked
Mm-hmm.
in big companies and I've come to a point where I was like, okay, what else now? And it was the next step for me, trying to work for kind of a little bit for others and hoping that people will be able to go further than I in the end.
Yeah. I love that. I love that you were a first in your family. As you think about a year from now, what other firsts do you want to create?
The other thing that I'd like to create when it comes to my island, I would like people to be more open-minded.
Mm,
To not only focus on France, but to tell themselves that I can learn from anybody.
hmm
Can be from Russia, China, the
hmm
US, Brazil, any country in the world, because I feel like we are all connected in the end.
Yeah.
And you shouldn't think that, okay, I have a problem here, I'm the only one who's going through that. Because even if you have not seen that in your time, let's say in your lifetime, you haven't seen that anywhere else on the planet, but maybe this is a situation that people in the past, they have gone through that, and you
Yeah.
can try and learn from what they have done to settle their issues and try to apply them it in your life. Because I feel like when you live
Yeah.
into a box, you sometimes you get just hopeless because you feel like
Yeah.
there's no way or no other direction I can go to get rid of my issue.
Yeah. And it sounds like, David, that's one of the ways you want to provide that impact is to open up and show those possibilities to other people, so that they don't feel that way, so they don't feel like they're in a box and that they have no other choice and that they're stuck.
Yeah, and if there's one more thing that I would say about that, I think you shouldn't be arrogant when it comes to that. It is a goal, that's great, but sometimes you have a goal and you don't see the fruits in your lifetime, for instance.
Hmm
Sometimes it happens just afterwards. But in the end, the goal, the what is fine, what would be fine, and what has to be fine, I think for me is the fact that I have tried my best,
yeah.
and hopefully, when it comes to the values that I have developed and a different set of principles, hopefully it was a good goal, and if it has an impact, that's great. But it can be done better by somebody else afterwards. The goal is just to be somebody hopefully who will make a step in the right direction, and if it can have an impact on people around you, this is great.
Yeah, I love that. One of the things about goals are a place to come from, not to get to. What I mean by that is, it's a goal is not this thing. I want to challenge how you think about that. It's not this thing where we say, hey, in 6 months I'm going to um, do this thing. I want to do this, get here, be at this place. Another way to look at goals is to be put yourself in those shoes already. What I mean by that, one of your goals is to make a bigger impact in the world, to help people make a bigger impact.
Yeah.
You have to start that and be that now. Start that and be that now, so that you'll get there, right? So you'll make progress and you'll get there. Another goal was to start living your potential. You said you're only using like maybe 30% of your potential, but in order to get to where you want to be, in order to grow that muscle, you have to start being that now. Does that
Yes.
make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense for me, and I was just thinking about it lately. The fact that if you want to reach the goal that you have set for yourself, you shouldn't believe that you will reach that goal in the future. You have to try and become what you have to try and become the man that would be able to reach that goal afterwards. It's like when I had my goal of doing my business school, I had to envision it first and act as if I had already succeeded.
Right. That's
Then it's
exactly what
just
I'm
a
saying.
just a consequence. It happens naturally. This is why when you said in our previous interview, I bet this is something that has happened before for you, that you had a goal and somehow, some way, it materialized itself. And
Yeah.
this is that you have to envision it, to be certain, you have to dress as if it has already happened for you.
Exactly. And that it's already now, it's already here. I have already accomplished this goal. So then you can start to act in that sort of way. You can be that person. You can be the person who's making a greater impact in the world. You can be the person that helps people be more open-minded. You can already start being that person that is living their potential.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And today I was talking with a client of mine. I was telling him that just my personal opinion, once again, that when I see certain countries that are not doing that well, I feel like quite often it is because they don't think long term. And it's not just for countries, but just even an individual. You have a lot of people who don't really think long term. They are in the short term, and generally, you end up being sad and hopeless sometimes when you think that way, because the difficulty that you're going through right now, if you don't tell yourself, okay, I'm going through that right now, but I have an ending goal that's going to come maybe a year from now, 2 years from now, 5 years from now, or 10 years from now, then you have a hard time dealing with the issue that you have. For instance, when I was a student, I didn't have a lot of money actually. I was
Mm-hmm.
very short on money, but I was
Mm-hmm.
telling myself, okay, this is just a step. So in the future, I hope, and I'm pretty sure that if I can sustain it, then I'll be in a very different situation and it will last. So, like I had a teacher one time, he told us it was after 2 years after what we call the baccalaureate, it's a degree that you do after high school here.
Mm-hmm.
And so I've done 2 years, then I would do my bachelor. And we had a teacher who told us, you should be patient. Should be very patient because 5 years is nothing. Afterwards, you're gonna have maybe 40 years that you'll have to work. So be patient. Try to go as far as you can. And it stayed on my mind. I was like,
Yeah.
I was just thinking, okay, it makes sense for me.
Good. Good. And so we've talked about you making a greater impact. We've talked about a dream you have of helping others be open-minded, as well as living more of your potential and using more of your potential. Is there? Would you like to explore any of those a little bit deeper, or what are your thoughts?
Mm, uh, yeah, what do you mean exactly when you say explore? I mean to work on myself in order to ensure and to make sure as much as I can that I can reach those goals that I've set for myself.
Yeah. Um, how do you want to be this person that we just described? So you are already, David, a person who has done many firsts in your family.
Yeah.
What other firsts would you like to do, or would you like to take on, so that you can to be the man that you want to be?
I think right now what I should do, but to always depend also on your environment. If I want to reach
Mm-hmm.
these goals, I would have to have people around me who have also goals that are close. And the second thing I would say, I'd have to improve in my organization, just daily
Yeah.
organization. I think it would be the two biggest tools that I could use to be able to reach those goals that I have right now. Because, like you said, these are things that I didn't aim for before. It's new
Mm-hmm.
goals. So if I want to reach new goals, I have to organize myself in a different way. And maybe I'll have also, I'm pretty sure of it actually, I'll have also to have another, I'll call it entourage around me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I'm hearing two things. Number one is community, having a group of people that are like-minded, that are have, if not similar goals, but are driven to, just like you, to actually accomplish those goals, and being more organized. And
Yeah.
yeah.
Now that the first
What?
step is to realize it. Second step is to get information about what you could do. I would say third step, it would be to try different different organizations that you could use. And then the first step, when you have all the tools, then and when they're working, then just have to go for it.
Yeah. One of the things I love and catch myself doing often, David, is thinking about all the steps that I need to do this thing, to get this thing done. I think it all the way through. And um, what I would like to challenge you to do is focus on just the very next step. Focus on taking that very next tiny step, to help you move closer. What would you say is that very next tiny step you can help to either help you get, the create the community that you want, or to get organized?
Tiny step.
Yeah.
I would say that it might seem very little, but I think beginning to work a little bit earlier. So I would say sleep earlier, so I
Go to
can
bed
wake up
earlier. Yep.
earlier,
Yep.
because I feel like this time that you have early in the morning, it's like gold for me.
Yeah.
Your mind is fresh. You don't have a lot of different things that can come to you and disturb you in that specific time. And
Yeah.
I've come to realize also that you have a lot of people, for instance, entrepreneurs and people who do a lot of things, even presidents who have that habit of waking up early.
Mm-hmm.
It
Mm-hmm.
might be 1 or 2 hours, but these hours, they are just unbelievable. The level of
Yeah.
concentration and what things that you can do. And when it's something that's steady, in a week, 2 weeks, a month, a whole year, I mean, you can become just somebody else.
Yeah. What you're speaking of is you want to create the habit of waking up earlier, and so that's amazing. Yeah.
Right.
What will get in your way from doing that?
Right now, I'm working on myself. When I say working on myself, I mean, I'm thinking about what is making it difficult for me right now. And I'm not trying to focus on what I do before going to sleep, but rather why I'm doing it. Because if during the day I feel like, okay, I've not done what I wanted to do, so I want to kind of catch up a little bit late at night, but in the end, it doesn't work because I feel like the work that I'm doing late, if I do it early, it will take me less time. My mind will work quicker, and in the end, I have better results. So
Yeah.
right
So
now,
it
as we
sounds
speak, this is what I'm working on. I'm working on right now.
Yeah, it sounds like you know yourself. You know that you're more effective and you get more done in the morning versus late at night.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And so if you have this goal of going to bed earlier so that you could wake up earlier, um, how do you get around what you just described, around thinking about you want to take extra time to get stuff done that you hadn't got done in the day?
There's also one thing that's very important is the fact that you have to set priorities. Otherwise, you cannot do it. Especially in my case, each and every day I get much more things to do
Yeah.
because I have a lot of different projects and things that I'd like to accomplish. But I have to set priorities. Otherwise,
Yeah.
I will not be able to do anything actually.
Yeah. So is waking up earlier a priority for you?
Right now is the immediate priority that I have right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Why is that important for you?
For me, it's important because I'd like to optimize my time and the use of it. Because I feel like this is the time where I'm the most efficient, and I have to make sure that I use this time. It might be 1 or 2 hours, like I said.
Mm-hmm.
This time is very precious, very, very
Yeah.
precious.
Why is being more efficient important to you?
Right now, it's efficient because I have a family now,
Mm-hmm.
so it's important that I set up some time for everybody.
So you want to
And
balance everything.
yeah, and like I said, I'm not I'm I'm not the kind of people who would be like who would be thinking, okay, I have this that I like to do, I have this other thing that I like to do. I want to choose between both of them. No,
Mm-hmm.
if I like two different things, I have to have a taste of it each and every day.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
So your family, why? I think I know the answer to this question, but why is your
Mhm.
family important to you?
It's important to me, not just because it's an obligation, I'd say,
Mm-hmm.
or a duty that I'd have,
Mm-hmm.
but also because I'd like to work to be like a little brick that would be there and would have a good impact in society. And right now,
Mm-hmm.
I have kids right now, and I'd like them to be the kind of people who will be good for the society and will be people who will be active, will be people who will play a good role in society. For me, it's very important. Even if I don't manage to have a bigger impact in society, I feel like one person can make a lot of things. You don't
Yeah.
necessarily have to have an impact on a whole lot of people. Somebody, just one person that you have impacted in the right way, can have an unbelievable impact.
Yeah. You never know, right? You never know the impact one person can make. And so what I'm hearing you say is you want to go to bed earlier so that you can wake up earlier so that you can be more productive and uh, family, spend more time with family and balance time with family and other people so that you can model for your kids how to really be how to be good adults in society and how to yeah, am I catching that all right?
Yes, yes, that's
Yeah,
right.
so that makes perfect sense why you want to wake up earlier.
And it's quite funny because one time I was talking with somebody, and she was telling me, you know, when I hear you talk, I feel like you are like the perfect man on earth. And I was like, no, no, the goal is to reach for the excellence. That's it. But I'll never say that I'll be able to do it.
Mm, mm.
So
Wow.
yeah, I mean, like I said, somebody that I feel like I can trust is somebody who will tell me, you know, I think I have a few qualities in me, but I also know that I have things that I can and should try to improve. I'm not
Hmm.
telling you that I'll be able to do it. That's just a goal.
Yeah. um what I will say is you will do it if it's important enough to you.
Yeah, for sure.
You what do you think about that? You'll do it
And
if it's important to you.
yeah, I totally agree with this opinion. I'll call it an opinion because for me, when something is very important to you, you don't have to think a million times or to tell yourself,
Hmm.
okay, now it's 2020. I'm gonna wait until next year, and then January the 1st, I'll change everything.
Yeah.
No, when it's very important, you play the part right away. You don't have to wait.
Y- yeah.
This is
Yeah.
why I was telling my brother that what's important to you, you can see it in what you do on a daily basis. Don't tell me that, for instance, I'll just take the example I've told you about. If I'm somebody who comes to you and if I tell you, okay, you know, my priority in life is my family, but in the end, when you see what I'm doing on a daily basis, I don't really spend time with them. And the things that I do, they are not related to them, not directly. So this is what I say, but this is not what I do.
Yeah.
And when you are in that situation, you should think much more about what you do. This is what will tell you what is really important to you. It's for instance, if I'm somebody who says family is not really important to me, and then when I lose a family member, then right away my job does not really matter anymore. I'm not really motivated to do anything else. Well, it just means that your family was very important to you, but just didn't realize it at the time.
Yeah. And so, David, what are you doing that you need to stop doing?
Related to what I said before, the fact that just the thinking that would tell me that at the end of the day, late at night, I can catch up and try to compensate from the things that I haven't been able to do before. This is something that
Yeah.
I should make some work on myself to convince myself that I cannot do much at this specific time, and I will lose more actually.
Yeah. What else can you tell yourself? So when that thought comes in your mind where it's like, I'm gonna work late to get these things done, what's something you can tell yourself instead?
What I'm trying to do actually, I don't have anything specific that I'm thinking right now that I could tell myself. But what I'm trying to do also is to set up things around me so that these things that are around me would push me towards just stopping and going to bed earlier. So
Tell me again, why do you want to go to bed earlier?
yeah, it's so that I can wake up early and I can have this time in the morning that I can use to try and work on myself and try to reach my goal and develop my skills, generally speaking.
Which will help you also model for your kids so to be that model and that example for your kids as well, right?
Yeah, yeah, totally. Because in the end, it's a time that you have kind of with yourself, because a lot of people are asleep. And then
Yeah.
when people are awakened, so there comes the time when you are there and you can just try and make your work as a teacher, kind of.
Yeah. What behavior are you modeling for your kids right now?
Right now, just taking into account the I would call them defaults that I have. I'd like
Hmm.
them to be much more assertive, but with knowledge, because you have some people who are assertive, but they don't really have knowledge. And when you listen to those kind of people and you act and follow their guidance, then you can have just very bad results in the end.
Yeah, I'm gonna tell you something that I caught. So when I asked that question around what behavior are you modeling for your kids, you told me about like other people, what other people sometimes do. Um, what would you say is the behavior that you're modeling right now for your children?
Related to my own behavior this time,
Yeah, yeah.
I would say that what I'd like them to have is to be kind. It's important.
Are you kind?
I try to. I wouldn't. I would say I wouldn't be arrogant enough to say that I am, but I'm trying to. I'm trying to. For me, it's a goal, and uh, to be kind is to realize that the things that we have in this life, they are just tools, and they should be tools for us to have a good impact and to develop this kindness towards people. It doesn't mean that you have to be nice to everybody, because you have people who are really doing bad things. You act in a specific way with them. But generally speaking, right now it's a goal for me. So, for instance, getting being healthy, becoming, for instance, a rich guy, money-wise. This is nice, but in the end, it has to serve a good goal. In the end, it should have a
Yeah.
good impact. Otherwise, right now, as just the state where I'm in my life, I feel like if it doesn't serve something that's really good, it doesn't have any meaning really.
Yeah. One of the things you spoke about with first thing was being kind. How how does David show kindness?
The ability and the time that you can give to people, just listening to them. For me, it's a big thing
Hmm.
because it happens even sometimes I do it myself. You hear but you don't listen,
Hmm.
and just for instance, it happens that sometimes that you cannot solve the problem of somebody, a friend, or somebody next to you. Just the fact that you listen to them and they feel like they are listened, it changes everything.
Yeah.
I think it's the
How does
first
it feel?
step. Yeah.
How does it feel for you when you're listened to? You're listened. Yeah, when you're really listened to. How does that feel for you?
Yeah, I feel like it has helped me grow. This is why I love talking to my dad, for instance, and I asked him about maybe things that his mom told him or what happened before. For me, it's like food. For me, really, it's like food for me because then I think about myself, I think about what I do, and I try to establish links between what he's telling me and what I'm going through, or the things that I'd like to improve in me, in myself.
Mm.
This is how I see it. It's like I'm one person, but if I take the time to listen to people around me, can be anybody, I'll have like a little portion of his life experience.
Hmm.
And in the end, I feel like you can be one, but at the same time, be several people.
I agree.
And I'm,
Yeah,
yeah,
listening to understand is critical, and it helps people yeah, feel heard and feel like they're a part of something, and feel important, and yeah. Yeah. So as we wrap up, David, what tiny insights have you gathered on today's call, either about yourself or about anything?
one more time with what you've said. I would say that it's a confirmation that if you want to do big things, you have to start by the little ones first,
Yeah.
and don't see these things are as things that are insignificant because it is not the case. Just one little step, then another one. This is what leads you to the big realization in the end. This is what I'll take out from our discussion today.
Good. And what did you learn about yourself?
Mm, I would say that honestly, what I've learned about myself, generally speaking, what I've learned about not only today, but since we have begun to talk, I would say the fact that talking with your heart, it is maybe one of the best things for you that can help you out to see what you to try and see what you really are right now,
Mm.
and what you should do in the future to become the person that you want to become. Because here, what we have done, we have recorded our conversations, and then I got to listen to what I have said to you. And for instance, I remember at the end of the first interview, after listening to it, I was surprised. I was like, I didn't realize that I said so many things about myself. And the last interview, I didn't even realize that I didn't activate my camera, because once we have begun, just I was just already, I was not here anymore. I was already in my
Yeah,
thoughts, and I didn't
yeah.
realize that the camera was not on. But I remember when I took a look at the interview afterwards, I was surprised. I was like, "What happened?" I was there, we were talking, but in the end, I only see a picture. I don't understand. And then I realized, okay, I didn't activate the camera because I was so focused on the conversation, but I just didn't realize it. And even in public speaking, for instance, because I've done some of it, because I was doing a MLM before, and it is a tool that you can use when you talk to somebody, when it's something that you have gone through, you talk with your heart and your emotions, your
Hmm.
expression, your voice, everything is there all of a sudden. And this is one of the best way for you to, when you have a message, to give it to an audience.
Hmm.
So right now I'm also teaching, and I try to use it as much as possible.
Wow, I love it. Great job today, David.
Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. All right. All right. Um, yeah, and so now we are complete. Um, would you like to? Do we want to schedule another call, or what are you thinking?
Yeah. They are. I feel like our interviews are very interesting.
Hmm.
And here, once more, I didn't realize that we had already made our time.
Yeah, yeah. Time flies.
Yeah,
Um, what we can do is, how's 3 weeks from today?
yeah, it should be fine. It should be fine to
Yeah.
me.
All right. I will get that scheduled.
Okay.
Anything for me, David, before we end?
Um, yeah, just when it comes to the book that you're writing, where are you in the writing of your book?
Yeah, I'm at the very early stages. Right now, I'm gathering information from all kinds of leaders. Um, so I've got an outline that I'm working on. And so yeah, so the very very early stages. Yeah, yeah.
Okay, that's great. Hopefully, I get a copy of it.
Yes, yes.
So
I'll I'll keep you posted as we
I feel like I've
progress.
been part of it right now.
Yes, sir. All right, David. Thank you so much. I hope you
Yeah,
have a
you're
good
welcome.
good rest of your week.
Yeah, thank you very much. You
All
too.
right, you're welcome. Take care.
You too. Bye.
Thank you.